All right, so today we're going to look at how to find the zeros of a function. So to find the solution of a function, first it needs to be in factored, or to be factored. So once in factored form, then the real zeros of the function are the numbers of x for which the function equals 0. So for each product to equal 0, at least one of the factors must equal 0. So we set each factor equal to 0 and solve. Make sure to check for extraneous solutions. So that's just kind of the wording. I'm going through, how do we do this? But what does it actually mean? So we want it to be in factored form, number one. And the nice thing is when we start this out, Alex gives it to us in factored forms. So with this one, I have negative 2x, I have x squared plus 4, and x squared minus 9. Technically, we could factor this one a little bit further because this is a difference of squares. So I could even factor this one into x plus 3 and x minus 3. Although because of the square root, you'll see that we actually still get both answers. So what it means to set each one equal to 0 is exactly what you see down here. So each piece is a factor. So negative 2x is one factor, x squared plus 4 is another factor, x squared minus 9 is the third factor. So there are 3 factors here that I'm going to set equal to 0 and I'm going to solve. So for this one, to solve for x, I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides, negative 2, and I get x equals 0. And then for this next one, I'm going to go through and say subtract 4 from both sides, right? So 4 minus 4, and then I have x squared equals negative 4, and I would have to take the square root of this. Well, there are no numbers that would give me negative 4, not real numbers anyway, not on this one, because 2 times 2 gives me positive 4, negative 2 times negative 2 gives me positive 4 as well. So this one won't work. I can't use this one in this situation. So I say this one's not possible. This is kind of an extraneous solution. And if you try to plug this in and said, what's the square root of negative 4, it would give you an error because the calculator isn't going to understand exactly what you want to do there. All right, so let's do that same thing on this last one, but this time I'm going to add 9 to both sides. And then I have x squared equals 9. So now with this one, I can take the square root of 9. And if I think about it and just say, 3 times 3 gives me 9. Negative 3 times negative 3 gives me 9. Well, I have 2 options there. I could either have 3 or negative 3. So I do, in fact, have my 2 answers there. I have 3 and negative 3. And we would list these with commas. So you could say 0, comma 3, comma negative 3. Okay, depending on how many different options you have there. And one of your zeros is going to be an imaginary number, but they only want us to list real zeros right now. I know it's imaginary because of that negative 4 with the square root. Technically, there should be 5 roots here because if I were to multiply all the x's together, I would end up with a degree of 5. And the degree tells you how many roots there are. So it's just kind of a fast way of knowing that. So only having a couple tells me that there's a couple imaginary roots as well. So I hope that helped finding the zeros of an equation, and I will see you in the next video.